President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. has announced plans to meet one-on-one with the President of China, Xi Jinping at Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC meeting coming this November in South Korea, and according to President Trump, he had a phone call with President Xi to also pay a state visit to China early next year to discuss and find a possible solution to end Russia-Ukraine war, and the U.S. issue with the Chinese-owned social networking company, TikTok, that may face complete ban in the United States if agreement is not reached on December 16, 2025. That aside, the United States government is currently being considered as a pseudo-practitioner of free trade and free speech, and freedom of association. Some observers accused U.S. government of monopoly in the technology industry, that it wants to remain superior in the social networking business. Hence the U.S. government is demanding to own and control TikTok, trying to use all manners of manipulative and deceptive ways to force ByteDance to sell TikTok to Oracle and Silver Lake, among others, because of China government alleged control of TikTok algorithm and also allegedly having access to the data of US users. Interesting as it may be, in the aspect of trying to apparently abuse freedom of association, United States government under President Donald Trump has revoked and denied visa to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and 80 other Palestinian authorities in order for them probably not being able to attend the United Nations General Assembly meeting to speak out their minds against Israel war in Gaza and other Palestinian territory. But other world leaders on Friday, in a vote of 145 against 5, permitted the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, to address the World Assembly via video call next week. China, as one of the biggest economies in the world, has been on loggerhead with its major trade rival, the United States, since 2018 during the first tenure of President Donald Trump, and its loggerhead with US has probably made China to maintain a strategic, pro-Russian position on the war in Ukraine, publicly claiming neutrality while allegedly providing essential economic and diplomatic support to Moscow. Reports indicated that Chinese officials privately admit that a Russian defeat would not serve Beijing's interests, which center on its geopolitical rivalry with the United States. Also, China's state-controlled media, Xinhua News Agency, People's Daily, China Central Television, which include China Global Television, China National Radio CNR and China Radio International CRI, some of them always using the prominent social networking platform in China, the Weibo social media, are frequently and apparently always amplifying Russian talking points, such as blaming and accusing the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, of expansionist agenda and the US for allegedly creating the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. On TikTok, as of September 2025, TikTok continues to operate in the US while its owner, ByteDance, negotiates a deal with American buyers to avoid a ban. The social networking app, which has since become one of the most used social media platforms in the world due to its favorable algorithm that challenged older existing social media platforms for low distribution of users' contents. It may be true that there are certain things people do to others, they may not take the same from anyone. This assertion appeared to have come into play in the current administration of Nigeria President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who in the era of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan apparently used spin logic to always make false statements, incite the public against the government, destroy the reputation and personality of the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. As you may know, spin logic in communication is a public relations campaign strategy that uses deliberate biased or misleading interpretations of events and information to influence public perception. In one of the viral videos between 2012 and 2014 in the history of politics in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was then a chieftain of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, and later All Progressives Congress, APC, allegedly told a gathering of thousands of people that the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said Nigeria citizens should face death or starve to death, directly or indirectly saying that the then President Jonathan did not care about the well-being of his people. Till date, Tinubu has not shown any evidence to back up his claim that the people are hungry. President Jonathan said they should face death, and in some occasions, Tinubu called on the police not to attack protesters. Specifically, on November 29, 2013, Tinubu tweeted via Twitter, now X social media platform, that police do not attack protesters, your children are involved, your lives are involved, your children's future lie here, and urged millions of Nigerians to protest peacefully against the Jonathan-led government. And in one of the protests, Occupy Niger, allegedly sponsored by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, according to Reno Omokri, who was then a media spokesperson to Jonathan, the then President Jonathan's photo was placed on a coffin as a dead man, and the coffin was labeled RIP, meaning rest in peace. Also, in February 2011, as reported by Nigeria media, Tinubu described the then President Goodluck Jonathan as a drunkard sinking fisherman, a word that appears to falsely describe the then President Jonathan as a man that always take too much of alcohol to the extent of losing control of his behavior. But, under the same Tinubu, who is now the President of Nigeria, the State Security Service, SSS, also known as the Department of State Service, DSS, has filed a court case against Facebook and X social media companies over a post published separately on August 25 and 26, 2025 by a well-known human rights activist and anti-government critic, Omiyele Sowore, and his online media, Sowore Reporters, and in the 5-count charges, the DSS accused Omiyele Sowore of making defamatory or false statements against the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for describing the president as a criminal after the president allegedly said there is no more corruption in Nigeria. In the legal battle, Omiyele Sowore has also gone to court to stop Facebook, X social media from deleting his posts, and sued the DSS for unconstitutional media censorship. The DSS in the suit marked FHC, ABJ, CR, as people of Nepal in South Asia country took to the streets in an unprecedented manner to protest an end to corruption and bad leadership in the country during the week after a short-lived ban on social media by the Nepalese government. Nigeria's secret police, known as Department of State Security Services, DSS, appeared to have doubled efforts apparently to avert the unpleasant Nepal situation in the West Africa country, a situation where some politicians in the South Asia country tasted the bitter side of their citizens like never before. The DSS has appeared to be on the neck of X social media management to ensure the deletion of a post tweeted by the founder of Sowore Reporters News Media and a well-known anti-government critic, Omiyele Sowore, that allegedly described the Nigeria president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a criminal, a statement Sowore made in reaction to the words of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over corruption in Nigeria while the president was on official visit in Brazil. The DSS said Sowore misrepresented the president's statement, and as such, the supporters of the president are not happy over it. Hence, the security service demanded a retracted publication from Omiyele Sowore, but, in a swift reaction, Omiyele declined and accused the DSS of always acting illegally. In a letter written during the week and addressed to the Director General of the Department of State Services, Omiyele said, "I acknowledge receipt of your letter, which you stealthily dumped with a security guard at the office of my attorneys in Abuja, addressed to Abubakar Marshall. I find your horrendous attempt at holding an unwarranted brief for the president not only insidious but fundamentally defective, flawed in principle, and absolutely unlawful. The State Security Service was not created as a security institution. The SSS, now self-styled as the DSS, began as the Department, Special Branch, an office established in 1948 and initially located in the Office of the Inspector General of Police. It was later renamed the National Security Organization, NSO, but on June 5, 1986, the federal military government issued Decree No. 19, dissolving the NSO and unbundling it into 3 entities: the SSS for domestic intelligence, the NIA for external intelligence and counterintelligence, and the DIA for military-related intelligence. While the NIA and DIA largely kept faith with their mandates, the SSS under successive Director Generals has consistently acted bullishly, illegally, and unlawfully, serving as a ready tool of oppression for dictatorial regimes bent on breaking rules and repressing the rights of the Nigerian people. Thus, it is no surprise that you have once again resumed repressive hostility against me. In 1993, while I was student union president at the University of Lagos, policemen abducted me from the university gate during a peaceful pro-democracy protest. I was taken to your Lagos office after being driven around with my head tucked under a seat. From Awolowo Way in Ikoyi, I was detained unlawfully for weeks at the notorious Inter-Center near Ikoyi Cemetery. It took several days of lecture boycotts to force your hand to release me without charges. Again, in January and June, Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, has officially announced the appointment of Chief Superintendent of Police, CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, as the new Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Police Force. After him, the former Police Force Spokesperson was promoted, reassigned and redeployed to Delta State as the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, a sensitive position that has generated massive reactions from members of the public, especially those who widely believed that DCP Olumuyiwa used his office as force spokesperson to suppress freedom of speech by arresting and detaining people on grounds of alleged cyber-talking and violence instigation against the Nigeria police force, while many accused him of abandoning the main security challenges affecting Nigeria, and created more time for himself to be reading through comment sections on social media to harass innocent young Nigerians over mere comments, and the new posting may offer DCP Olumuyiwa the opportunity to always lead a team of combat joint security squads to battlefields where he may have direct contact with some of the deadly and well-armed gunmen in the South and Southeast geopolitical zones. He's expected to lead offensive and defensive operations against militants and armed robbers who have killed several policemen, sometimes in mass numbers in recent years in the oil-rich Delta State, where his new job function required him as the police field combat commander of the state to develop combat strategies to address cases of oil bunkering, kidnapping and more strategies to confront and push back Biafra secessionist armed groups widely believed have good positions and camps in Delta State. In a statement issued a few minutes ago, DCP Olumuyiwa said, "The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetoken, has approved the appointment of CSP Benjamin Hundeyin as the new Force Public Relations Officer, FPRO. CSP Hundeyin holds a BA, Hons, in English Language from Lagos State University and an MSc in Legal Criminology and Security Psychology from the University of Ibadan. He also obtained a certificate in Civil Military Coordination from the Martin Luther Agwai International Leadership and Peacekeeping Training Center, Jaji, Kaduna State. He is an associate of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, a member of the International Public Relations Association, IPRA, and an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM. A seasoned communicator, CSP Hundeyin previously served as the Police Public Relations Officer at Zone 2 Command Headquarters, Anikan, Lagos, was part of the Nigerian contingent to the United Nations Peacekeeping Mission in Darfur, Sudan, UNAMID, in 2020, and served as the Administration Officer at the Force Public Relations Department, Force Headquarters, Abuja. Until his present appointment, he was the Police Public Relations Officer for the Lagos State Police Command. The Inspector General of Police has charged him to leverage on his communications and security experience to bolster the Force Public Relations activities and ensure continuous positive Dangote Group, owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has denied ownership of the two trucks involved in separate road accidents on Wednesday at Azala, Four Corner area, close to the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC State Command and the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, UNTH in Enugu State, that claimed 10 lives and injured 10 others currently receiving treatments in the hospital. The company made the denial based on the report made available by the Enugu State Command of the Nigeria Police Force that the two trucks involved in the accidents were owned by Visco Investment Global Limited and Global Investment, but Videos made available online by road users and residents who witnessed the scenes of the accidents showed the name of Dangote boldly written and inscribed on the head of one of the trucks involved in the accidents. The police said the first incident occurred around 9 o'clock in the morning, claiming 6 lives, and the other took place at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, killing 4 persons. And our check indicated that the Visco Investment Global Limited is registered by Nigeria Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, as a general contractor, and the company head office is opposite Dangote Cement Factory at Obajana in Lokoja area of Kogi State. And its statement on Wednesday, Dangote Group may have admitted Visco Investment Global Limited as a partner, as it described the contracting company as a third party. The Enugu State Police Command in a press release on Wednesday said the command regrets to inform the public of 2 separate but tragic fatal road accidents that occurred today, the 3rd of September 2025, along the Azala, 4-corner axis of the dual carriage Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. The crashes claimed 10 lives and left 10 others hospitalized. The first incident, a multiple vehicle crash, happened at about 9 a.m. on the Enugu inward-bound lane. A Howo truck, inscribed Visco Investment Global and laden with bags of white cement, was en route Abuja from Abia State, when it collided with a Toyota Corolla car that was attempting to overtake another truck on the same route. A Photon bus and a Daihatsu Hijet minibus, both driving one way, were also caught in the collision. Sadly, the truck head and the Toyota Corolla car went up in flames, with 5 occupants of the car burning to death. A passenger in the minibus was equally confirmed dead by the attending medical doctor. Similarly, at about 3 p.m. on the same road, another fatal crash occurred. This time, it involved a Sino truck belonging to Global Investment and a tricycle. The truck, laden with cement and driving one way from Gariki Enugu to Nenwe in Ananri local government area, on the same Enugu inward-bound lane, rammed into the tricycle, leading to the death of its 4 occupants. They were rushed to the hospital but later confirmed dead. 10 other persons, injured in the separate crashes, are currently receiving medical attention. The Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, CP Maman Bitrus Giwa, while mourning the tragic loss of lives and commiserating with the families of the deceased, has directed the State Motor Traffic Department to carry out a diligent investigation into the circumstances surrounding the accidents. The Nigeria President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has said that the West Africa country has no fear over whatever the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is doing, although the Nigeria president did not give details what the US president is doing that the nation has no fear of, but President Tinubu, at a meeting with political leaders at the State House in Abuja on Tuesday, said that the country has met its revenue target for 2025 from non-oil revenue sources, saying, if Nigeria as of August has already met revenue target from non-oil products, the country has no fear of whatever the President of the United States, US, is doing, adding that the economy of the country is now stabilized, saying, the Naira currency is now performing well in the foreign exchange market, with a claim he met dollar exchange rate at 1,900 Nairas per $1 on May 29, 2023, when he took over as the President of the West Africa country, praising himself that he has worked hard to reduce the foreign exchange rate from 1,900 Nairas to 1,450 Nairas per $1, a claim we fact-checked to be very incorrect. We observed that President Bola Tinubu on May 29, 2023 met foreign exchange rate at 461 Nairas per $1. On the day of his inauguration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu issued a policy statement directing the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure a unified exchange rate, a policy statement that made the exchange rate to increase from 461 Nairas to 853 Nairas per $1 at the end of 2023. After the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu officially pegged and increased the foreign exchange rate from 461 Nairas to 750 Nairas per $1 in his 2024 budget, which made cost of foodstuffs and other cost of living in the country to increase more than 200%, and while presenting the 2025 budget, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pegged and increased the foreign exchange rate from 750 nairas to 1,500 nairas per $1. This policy action of the president has since made cost of foodstuffs and other basic necessities in Nigeria to increase outrageously more than 700% with no reduction till date. Like, a sachet water that used to be sold for 5 nairas is now sold between 20 nairas to 50 nairas in some locations in Nigeria. Details of some of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's statements as presented by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, reads verbatim below. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said on Tuesday in Abuja that the revenue target for 2025 was achieved in August, following economic reforms focused on stimulating the non-oil sector. He said that the bulk of the revenue came from the non-oil sector. The president assured Nigerians that the renewed hope agenda is firmly anchored on building critical infrastructure, improving health facilities, ensuring food sovereignty, and providing security. He spoke at a meeting at the presidential villa with the founding members of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change and the Buhari organization, led by
Sowore, bringing you the news in a more digital way.